Hi guys, this is Andrew at FloryPB, and this is part 3 of the video. Well, day 4, part 3. Day 3 was me redoing things and just getting everything ready, getting it cleaned, putting on special O-rings, whatever I could do, and just getting it ready for a decent reassembly video and probably eventual heartache when this doesn't work. But hopefully it works. That's the plan, thinking positive here. We left the marker on this bench. This is call us the bench of optimism, positive ideas here. We're trying to do something neat, and we'll see if it's going to end up working out for us. We will start assembling some things. I'm not perfectly happy with my regulators yet. I'll explain what's happening there. Let me assemble the bolt assembly, get that in the marker, show you guys what I did, going through that a little bit. We'll start with the pillow bolted can. Not the can, but the actual bolt itself. I replaced the O-rings with 015 quad rings on it. And we're going to use Dow 55 lube on everything on this marker, because it's Bob Long. Dow 55 is a little bit different than Dow 33, because what it does is it swells O-rings. And I guess Bob Long tolerances and just Bob Long markers in general, they really need that. It's a big staple that no other company ever has to deal with, but Bobby Boy does. So regardless of that, let's go to this. We didn't change these two weird little O-rings. They are the same weird little O-rings. They are a little bit thin. I think they might be metric, or I'm not 100% sure. We're just going to pack them up with grease because they are just sealing O-rings. O-ring that matters is the one in here. This is an 008 O-ring, and I replaced that with a quad ring. Really happy I could, but I replaced that with a quad ring. Here's the ram bumper, or the ram itself. I replaced this with a quad ring. This is an 012. This ram has a quick exhaust valve, or quick exhaust section on it itself, which is pretty good. I'm going to lube that all up. Put that back in. Alright, put the spring back on. I don't think there's anything special about the way this goes on. I didn't look, but I don't think so. I replaced the front internal O-ring here with an 014, an 014 equivalent U-cup seal. The same thing you would do on a DM build if you're doing a really nice DM build. It's a nice O-ring for this, or a nice kind of ring setup for this. We just got to be conscious of getting it in there correctly. That looks okay. And I don't know if that's going to work, but we're going to see. Get something hard, just push it down. Make sure that valve opens. I'm looking to see if I see any black from the U-cup seal in there, which I don't, which is good. That goes back on there. Got to put the back on. This is kind of key to send this stuff down. Okay, that's in line down there. There's 3 set screws. One thing I do like about the back cap in this, I don't know what he called this version of the Marq bolt. One thing I do like about the back cap here is it has an adjustment in it, so you can adjust your bolt throw forward or backwards, which is pretty good. So if you're dealing with paint that's different size or something like that, you can snug it up. It's more of an old school feature. You don't see that anymore in new markers. Mostly people just go to a two-stage like a two-stage or a slow soft start bolt system. That's kind of the norm now, which you don't have to deal with that so much because there's no hammering effect if you start out slow and you push it instead of just whacking it. But back then, the markers would just whack the paint if it's not up against it. If it's up against it, it just moves it. But it's just a difference in how it works. With the energy marker like this, where you have to build potential energy and momentum to slam open a valve, you're going to want that extra speed of the bolt, most likely. Give it some lube. I think the bolt system's back together. All right. She is in. Slightly tighten it down. Alright, so the bolt system's in. Let's throw my new piece on that I made. Here is the new one, guys. I shortened the screws from the existing solenoid just because I needed to, because I forgot to make this a little bit bigger, but I'm glad I didn't because I don't really have enough room the way it is. If I could do it again, I'd actually make this even shorter to give me more throw, and I might end up making it shorter depending on if this doesn't work. But here's the block. Made it the correct way this time. I have two very low profile barbs in it, and it's just a block. Just a block is going to work effectively enough. We're going to put Dow 55 on these two. I'm just going to cake them up. And I haven't even tested this yet, so hopefully this works. My big concern is this rear barb. Either I got to bring this thing down, or I might have to bring this down, or I might have to set this up with a 90-degree fitting on it, this back one, because it's just kind of tight in the trigger frame. I think it's bending my alternate this a little bit, but I think it might be kinking my hose, so my rear hose is not going to work, possibly. So that's in place. I'm going to put the LPR together. I want to do one more thing to the LPR, which I'll probably end up doing off camera. Like any bob long reg, I think I can make this surface a little better. I think it's a little, not crooked, but I can polish this up with a little sandpaper, and I'm going to do that because it just makes life easier if I polish it up with some sandpaper. Ekes that performance out a little bit more. LPR piston, I put a quad ring on it. The Lighten piston that we have. I wanted to put a quad ring on the HPR piston, but I don't have an 016 quad ring yet. I just ordered some, so that's going to help with this as well, but I do not have that yet, sadly. So I'm just going to try to put that back together the way it is, and that'll be good. Before I do this, I guess let me show you the piece I was really working on yesterday. I got shoehorned in there. I got the valve mounted, and I'm pretty happy with it. Let me bring this up. So I got it mounted. I made a plate. I made it fit. I put the hole through it, and I didn't think I'd like it. I thought I wanted to push it all the way back, but this gives it a little extra travel and makes it feel more like a click, like I'm used to. But that is a fully actuating solenoid valve. See how the plate moves a little bit? I like that extra spring. It's just a little bit better momentum when you're actually trying to walk the trigger, or you're actually trying to just pull the trigger, it feels a little more natural than it did when I had it all nice and stiff in the back. That feels kind of like a dead trigger, where that makes it feel a little bit lively, and I do like that feel. 2 hose barbs. I turned them a little bit. 90s I need it. I can slip the hose up through there. It's going to be a little tight, but I'm going to get that to fit pretty well. And just straight barb on top. And yeah, that fits in there pretty nice. That all fits up real nice. And I look forward to being able to do that with it. So let me grab some hose barbs. Let me run that over the sandpaper a little bit just because I'm this. Let me put the detents in first. Let me just do what I can on camera, and then I'll stop. A little all over the place. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to bang this video out. Don't need any of my eye cover stuff anymore. Or any of the additional eye cover stuff. Wait. I'm pretty happy how that plate turned out. Just did it with the bandsaw and some files. It looks very promising right now. If the marker shoots, that's a different story, but the actual work looks pretty promising. Alright, those are in. There's nothing in there anymore. That's pretty cool. But those are in. Frame has to go on. LPR has to go on. Let me just build up the... Took everything apart. Just wanted to make sure everything was looking okay. Now I gotta put it all back together. There's no exact reason to dowel this, to put any lube on this, but just to help it work a little bit. So you got the spring. The ball. That goes down there. Not a bad system he had here, but just a lot of parts. I do like it though. It's a decently easy on off. It's nice and tight out the front. We gotta toss this in. This is a double plate with 2 O-rings. So it's going to go in this way. The O-ring side in. That clicks in a little bit. And the last part, just a the depressor for the tank. Right in the middle. Give that a test. That works fine. A little snug, nothing crazy. God, that feels pretty cool. Like the feel of that thing. Makes a little noise, but I can live with that. I'm going to do the HPR. Did nothing to the top section of it. Just loaded out the bottom with some more stuff. You've seen it in video too, if you've been following the full series. And if not, video 2's got some decent tricks to get a little more performance out of this HPR and LPR. Let me put the rings in, the stack. I always like to put a little oil on a shim stack like this. It's an every other stack. I know some Angels and stuff like that, they vary them sometimes. This is just an every other stack, which is great. And this is probably one of... This one's regulators definitely got better. So when I did it like this, the down is pretty cool. It's really light. We made it lighter. I don't remember if the Delrin's stock at this point. I really don't know, but it definitely came with this marker. Might have been a Warp Sports thing, but I don't think so. I think it is a Bob Long thing that he did with these. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't really dabbled with too many marks. I'm going to not put that on yet. Alright, so let me sand this down. I'm do it off camera, get the LPR together, get that in. I will get some tubing to do this. And yeah, she's almost back together fully. So that's a pretty quick video with that. Be right back. I guess. So I'm back. Sand it down, both ends of these on 2000 grit sandpaper on a flat plate. I'm using a surface plate. If you just have a piece of plate glass, that's pretty good too. And I just do it until I don't feel any resistance anymore. Doesn't have to be perfectly shiny, just it's a lot smoother and can slip a lot easier, so it stays it's a little more consistent like this. So that's why I like doing it. We're going to install the piston. Install that. I counted the turns when I took this apart, and it was like 4.5 turns, or 4 1/4 turns I'll start with, because I don't really care to set it with an LPR pressure setter thing. I got one, but I don't know if it even works for this particular one. Make sure that works. Put this guy in. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. So I think that's where it was. Makes the most sense to me. We will get this on. You want to pack that O-ring down with lube. I might want to put a tube on this too. hands are all greasy. Oy. These aren't too bad of pliers to use for this because they're soft, or they're smooth jaw. Let me clean my hand off real quick. I'm trying to put a cocker hose on it, and it's a little bit bigger of a barb. And my hands are greasy. Come on, you're a big bastard. Oh, it was on. I think I might have killed that. Feel pretty justified doing this here and not when it's in the marker and I'm struggling more, because I'm struggling pretty hard. There we go. You're on there nice and good now. Four little screws that hold this thing in place. There you go. We're going to tighten them in an X pattern. Just give ourselves the best possible chance here. Am I too far forward? I'm too far forward. Never force these little screws, just make sure they feel like they're going in nice and easy. You do not want to cross thread these. There's not much meat on them. Okay, so I need a little length to be able to break the frame apart if I need to. So let me, I can't have too much length or it's just not going to work. Let me chop it there and see how that does. This would be the hardest connection. Oh, maybe it's the hardest connection. That's a damn lie to know, to say that as a fact. All right, that's on. That's plenty of room. That's still pretty good. All right. Let's sneak it up like this. Just want to be able to break free, but still keep it loose enough. I think this is the back one. I don't know. This is not, we'll have to switch them, but come on. Just can't do it with my hands right now. Try to give that a little stress relief. See, I don't like that hose. See how that hose comes down like that? I hope I got enough room there. All right. It's not bad. I want to try to stress relieve this a little bit. Bring you down a little more. I don't love that. That might be a problem, but let's see if we can adjust that. All right, I think that looks pretty okay. All right, guys, sorry I lost you there for a second. I have incredibly no air, but I'm getting a weird, does work. I don't know why it leaks when I have this up like this. I'm going to have to go through that a little bit and see what's going on, but it doesn't leak when I go down. And my air is incredibly low. But it does cycle it. So I'm going to find a better way to air this. I'm going to pick up some air tomorrow, and I'll clean this marker up a little bit. but it is functioning. I just got to clean this up. I might have to reroute these hoses a little bit. I'm going to leak out of the hose itself. Maybe I pierced one. Or I got to redo that a little bit. But I'm pretty happy with where this is starting. I'll do more from here, but that feels pretty not that bad. So, like I said, I'm pretty happy with that start. I'm going to redo these hoses a little bit, try to prevent this kinking from happening a little bit. I'll show you guys what I do when I do that. I'm going to pick up some more air tomorrow. So, hopefully I can get a shooting video of this thing chronoing. That would be pretty awesome. I think this is just a very I'm happy. I'm really happy with this result. This seems pretty awesome. Alright, that's it for video part 3. Look for video part 4. Hopefully it is the shooting video. And you see what I did here. It's not for guys that don't have any tools, but it's not crazy to do. It's really not crazy to make this little aluminum plate. Mac valves are fairly, they were at least fairly easy to get. I don't know about anymore. I can't find any Mac 43s like I was able to. Like 5 years ago, they were fucking everywhere. Now they're a little rare, but they're still not expensive. And you can use a Mac 44 if you have the room. Those are cheap as hell on eBay. Mac 33 works, but it only works as a blow forward or something like that. It won't work for something that needs air to the front and back. But a Mac 43 will work for these marks, DMs, matrices, shockers, you know, SFTs, NXTs, all those cool markers that you really don't even use that much anymore. You could do something like this and pretty non-evasively, for the most part, figure out a way to make them fully pneumatic where it's fully reversible. Everything here is completely reversible. I just have to get 2 new solenoid screws if I want to turn this back and get a board that function fully, but nothing here is not reversible. So that's why I like the most about this particular thing. And it gives me a new use of this cool classic, I guess is the way to call it, electro now. Semi-classic to me, but let's see how this works. I want to see how it shoots with the Marq drivetrain, that E-Bolt Tippmann drivetrain style setup. And I mean, we can move on from there and do some other cool things, but let's see how this works. And alright, that's it for this video. I think it's short enough. My second was a little bit on the long side, but I like machining in videos, so hey. Alright guys, it's Andrew at FloryPB. This is part 3. I think we got something fairly successful going on here. I will see you guys later.